On a cold and rainy night, a pregnant woman is about to give birth to two identical twins just like her grandmother had told them. The grandfather, however, wanted to kill the babies because prophecies revealed that the child might be the reincarnation of Asaha Doji, the most evil and strongest onmyoji from 1,000 years ago. To prevent Doji from destroying the world, the grandfather felt the need to kill his very own grandson. As the clock hits midnight, one of the twins is born. However, the next second, all the Shikigami summoned by the grandfather to kill the baby were instantly destroyed. The spirit guardian of Asaha Doji is reborn along with him, preventing anyone from harming the baby. The baby's father immediately summons the mountain god to intervene, but even the mountain god could not withstand even a single attack from Doji's spirit guardian. The Shikigami, or the spirit guardian, picked up the baby and prepared to leave. The mother was extremely anxious, recognizing the spirit guardian as the onmyoji that was driven out of this world 1,000 years ago. The mother is angry, but could do nothing as she was still pregnant with another child. The baby Doji opens his eyes, saying that he believed that his brother would follow in his footsteps as well and pursue the path to becoming the Shaman King. And when the time came, he planned to return, consume his brother, and acquire greater power to destroy the world. Later, as the second twin is born, the grandfather tells the parents that there is no running away from their destiny. It will be a heavy burden for the child to bear, but they need to make preparations to face his future at once. With his own ability, the grandfather cannot defeat Doji, and therefore he has no choice but to place his hopes onto his other grandson. But he never imagined that the family's hereditary Shikigami techniques would be beyond the grasp of his grandson, Asakura Yo. Yo sucked at that big time and told his grandpa that he just wanted to live a carefree life listening to music all day. His grandpa went into the baby boomer rant by saying that the young people these days are getting lazy and unmotivated. Left with no choice, the grandfather decides to reveal a secret. He told Yo stories about how the various spirits maintain the balance of the world and the king of spirits, whom some people call God, is all-knowing and all-powerful. Many, like the Asakura family, could communicate with ghosts or spirits and were known as shamans. They know about the king of spirits as well, but only the most powerful shaman of a generation, who is called the Shaman King, can meet the king of spirits. Yo got fired up on hearing this and told his grandpa that he would work hard to become the Shaman King because if he is friends with the most powerful spirit in the world, he can live the rest of his life without working at all. Thus, Yo embarked on a journey of training to find his guardian ghost. One day, as a timid midget is returning home late from his cram school, he decides to do the bravest thing he has ever done in his life, and that is taking a shortcut through the local graveyard. Just as he is crossing the fence, a local junkie Yo, who doesn't even know how to button his shirt, calls out to him, asking him to watch the beautiful night sky with everyone. Manta thinks that this guy either took too many pills or he actually didn't take his schizo pills today and reminds him that there are just the two of them here. Yo tells him to open his eyes and focus because they have company, and it is the ghosts of all the people that are buried in the graveyard. Just as he says this, the ghosts of the graveyard appear in front of Manta, who pisses his pants and runs away like Usain Bolt on steroids. Yo just watches him and then turns back to look at the ghost of an emo samurai. The next morning, Manta tells his friends with One Piece builds about the ghosts he saw at the graveyard yesterday, and they start worrying that he is losing his mind because of studying too much. Soon, the teacher comes in and tells everyone to take their seat before introducing a new transfer student named Yo. As Manta sees Yo, his mouth opens wide just like his uncle likes it, because it is the same boy he saw at the graveyard yesterday. He tells his friends that this is the weirdo who was with the ghosts last night. But Yo not only refuses to believe in ghosts, he pretends that he doesn't even recognize Manta. This pisses the midget off so much that he decides to become the pocket-sized Sherlock Holmes and find out what Yo is up to. He follows him after school, but Yo just keeps looking at clouds and pretending to be Shikamaru. Manta gets fed up when this wannabe stripper spends the entire evening doing nothing, and Yo finally notices him. He doesn't mind him stalking him and says that he should not have talked about the ghosts at school, because that is a secret he doesn't want to be revealed to the common people. Manta asks him what he means, and Yo says that he transferred here to train as a shaman, mystic people who can summon the power of ghosts, spirits, and even gods. He tells Manta that his grandpa has taught him that anyone who can see spirits on their own is not a bad guy, and that is why he revealed his secret to him last night. Yo tells him to call him for help whenever he is in trouble because he is pretty strong. He then asks the halfling if he knows about Amida, and Manta eagerly tells him that he is the most famous samurai of this city who has an exhibition at the museum too. Yo thanks him and then heads to the museum, where he finds a huge ghost sitting next to an ancient sword. He asks the guy what the regret is that is keeping him here, and he replies that he got his best friend killed. Yo says that he is interested in the story and asks the ghost to tell him more. On the other hand, Manta is curious about Yo, and he decides to check out the graveyard on his way again, unaware that a local gang has taken over the place. Their leader Ryu gets furious on hearing that a boy is coming to this area, even though this is their base, and he demolishes the grave of the samurai Amida to vent his rage. His underlings tell him that Amida is a legendary samurai who killed hundreds of people and was executed for his brutality, and harming his grave would curse him. Ryu just scoffs at this and begins attacking the grave even more furiously, and Manta, who is hiding behind the bushes, decides to sneak away quietly. Unfortunately, he sends an empty beer can rolling, and the gang finds him. Ryu thinks that he is the boy coming to their base and thrashes him good. The next day, as Manta returns to the school with serious injuries, his friends just laugh at him, but then Yo comes there. He has heard what happened from the ghosts, and he drags Manta with him, saying they are going to get revenge. Manta tells him to stop because this doesn't even consider him, but Yo says that they are friends now, and he won't stop at anything to help a friend. Soon, they reach the graveyard, and Yo tells Ryu to get lost from the place immediately because the ghosts don't like them. Everyone starts laughing at him, and Ryu tells Yo that he will have to beat him to get him out of this place. Yo says that he knows someone who is up for that challenge, and then calls the spirit of the samurai Amida, who is raging to get revenge on the man who broke his grave. Unfortunately, Ryu can't see Amida, and he tells his men to beat the boys. Yo suddenly turns Amida into a spirit ball and then puts him inside his body, merging their souls and powers. He easily beats the goons with a wooden sword and then challenges Ryu to come and get his serving. Ryu is intimidated by the sudden change in Yo's presence, but he still charges ahead with his wooden sword. Yo easily dodges his attack and then chops off his fourth JoJo hairstyle, knocking him out cold. Ryu's goons carry him and run away, and Amida also comes out of Yo's body. Manta has been watching everything dumbfounded, and he finally believes that Yo is really strong. After that, Yo asks Amida to be his friend and help him on the journey to become the Shaman King. But he refuses because he is going to wait at this exact spot, just like he has done for 600 years. Yo tells him that he knows that he is waiting for his friend Mosuke, who was the big ghost he met in the museum. Amida is shocked to hear that, and he recalls the story of his life. He and his best friend Mosuke were poor orphans who went to the local lord to get a job. Mosuke was a fine blacksmith, and he created a splendid sword for the lord, getting himself and Amida a job. However, the lord decided that he couldn't have Mosuke create another sword comparable to the one he had already given him, and he asked Amida to kill him. Amida immediately went to Mosuke and told him to run away, because as a samurai, he could not directly go against his master's orders, but he also didn't want to hurt his friend. Mosuke was hurt that this was his only choice, but he told Amida to wait at the hilltop for just one day because he was going to make him a sword even better than the previous one. Amida went to the hill to wait for his friend, but he had already been killed by the lord's men, who came after him as well. Amida fought them and died after killing thousands of them, earning a place in the history of the city. Amida tells Yo that he has been waiting at this place ever since then, and he cannot pass to the other world without getting the sword from his friend. Yo gives him the sword he has been waiting for and tells him that Mosuke was the same as him, and his soul couldn't pass away till he fulfilled his promise. However, the sword was battered and damaged after such a long time, and he was ashamed of even thinking about giving it to Amida. Yo forcefully merged his soul into his body, and they went to the nearest blacksmith to repair the sword. Amida gladly accepts the sword, and just as he touches it, the sword's soul is removed from its body, and it becomes a weapon of the ghost samurai. Yo tells him that Mosuke was a bit shy, so he has already passed on to the afterlife, and Amida says that he will take some time to see him again because, for now, he wants to serve Yo. A couple of days later, Manta is again late from his cram school, but this time, he confidently decides to take a shortcut through the graveyard because he already knows all the ghosts there. However, he is surprised to see another weirdo like Yo staring at the sky. Manta asks who the hell he is, and the boy starts spouting conspiracy theories about how stars are not real and the government has put lights up in the sky. Manta has no interest in this idiot, so he decides to leave, but the boy suddenly teleports behind him. Manta freaks out, but this tiny edgelord tells him that he won't harm him. Instead, he wants him to relay a message to Yo. He introduces himself as Ren, a shaman, and then summons a Chinese general spirit before declaring that he will take Amida from Yo. Manta freaks out on seeing this, and the next day, he explains in great detail about the other shaman he saw. Yo is too sleepy to pay attention to his blabbering. As they return from school later, Yo decides to take Manta seriously and tells him that he has never heard about a shaman named Ren. He thinks that the edgelord is trying to get his hands on Amida because he is a powerful spirit, and the rank of a shaman is decided by the power of the spirits they control. He still doesn't think that Ren is a bad guy, and he is curious to meet him, and Amida is also curious to meet the boy's spirit. Suddenly, they see Ren surrounded by the local crackheads because he broke their car's lights. They tell him to pay up, but he tells them to take their car's exhaust up their rear end. This infuriates the junkies, who attack him from all sides, but he beats them without even summoning his spirit. Suddenly, the junkies get into their car and decide to run him over, and Ren decides to summon his spirit basin and merge with him. He takes the warrior's weapon and slashes the car in half, but just as he is about to finish the driver, Yo stops him and tells him that a shaman should not harm normal people. Ren tells Yo that he has been itching to meet him and then tells him to stop caring about pests who only pollute the world with their presence. He declares that he will become the Shaman King and cleanse the earth of such people. He then gets to the point and asks Yo to hand over his samurai spirit to him, and Yo tells him that Amida is his friend and he can't give him away. Ren laughs, saying that spirits are not their friends but just a tool to show their power, and he can use them properly. Yo gets furious at this, and he picks up a steel pipe to beat Ren and show him that he is wrong. Both the boys merge with their spirits and charge at each other, and Amida proves to be more skilled than Ren's basin. Ren admits that Amida is stronger, but he tells him that his master is not strong enough to let out even 10% of his power. He decides to show them what a truly skilled shaman can do and forcefully extracts 100% of Basin's power, stabbing Yo's shoulder before he can even react. Yo falls to the ground, losing consciousness, and Ren decides to give Manta a lecture on how there are two souls inside a body when a shaman merges with a spirit, and if the shaman doesn't have full control over the spirit, he can't get out 100% of its power. He then walks over to Yo, saying that he will kill him and then take Amida from him, but Yo comes back to his senses and tells him that Amida is not a tool for him to use. Ren gets back immediately, wondering how Yo is still conscious, and Yo tells him that Amida dodged the attack for him at the last moment to save his life. He admits that he is weak and cannot fight against Ren, so he orders Amida to run away and pass on to the afterlife as soon as he is killed. Ren panics on hearing this and asks Yo if he is willing to let go of his strong spirit permanently, and he replies that it is much better than letting a jerk like him treat him as a tool. Ren decides to kill Yo before that, but Amida comes forward to shield him because, as a samurai, he cannot leave his master to die. Ren has had enough of their drama. He uses the 100% soul merge technique to attack Yo again. To his surprise, Yo blocks the attack because he has suddenly learnt to use the 100% soul merge too. Ren mocks him, saying that someone who treats a spirit as a friend can't do that, and Yo replies that they can do it because their feelings are totally in sync. Ren refuses to believe him and charges at him, and Yo takes Amida's trademark stance to use his ultimate move, which knocks the edgelord out cold. However, Yo has lost too much energy, and he passes out too, and Yo wakes up dreaming about the pain in a hospital bed. Manta and Amida are glad to see him awake, but Yo keeps thinking about his motivation to become the Shaman King. Suddenly, a girl arrives at his room and calls Yo pathetic for losing to a nobody and getting admitted to the hospital. Manta decides to confront her because no one talks to his friend like that, but the girl mistakes him for a cockroach and simply slaps him away. She then introduces herself as Anna, a shaman and Yo's fiancée. She tells Yo that he is falling off, and that is why she is going to help him train to become the Shaman King, because she wants to become the first lady of the shaman world in the future. Yo is still processing that she came here and asks how she found him. She reminds him that his grandma has trained her since she was a child, and she can summon any spirit, even those who have passed on to the afterlife, to ask questions from them. She then sits on the bed next to Yo and orders Manta to buy her a drink since she is thirsty. He asks her why he should buy it, and Anna slaps him again because he is refusing the orders of the future wife of the future Shaman King. Manta reluctantly goes to buy her some juice, and Yo follows him there because he can't deal with that nagging bitch. He tells Manta that he comes from a long line of shamans, and they decided to marry him to Anna to keep their bloodline strong. And for better or for worse, she is dead set on making him the Shaman King so that he can use the Spirit King's power to change the world according to his ideals. Soon, they reach the hospital room and find that Anna has tied Amida so that Yo doesn't run away. He tells her that she should not interfere with his life and method of training, but Anna asks him if he wants to die. She knows everything about his fight with Ren and says that if he attacks him again, Yo won't stand a chance because he won't be able to fully merge with his spirit. Also, Ren is the least of their worries, because the competition to choose the next Shaman King is going to start soon in Tokyo. She says that since the world is forgetting about spirits and going down the wrong path, it has been decided that a new Shaman King will be chosen to correct the world. For that, a shaman fight will be held in Tokyo, with powerful shamans all over the world coming there. And right now, Yo won't make it past round 1. The next day, Yo comes to school battered because Anna has been giving him some hardcore endurance training. He is relieved that he can relax at least while he is at school, but Anna tells him that he won't because she has transferred to his class as well. She tells Yo that he will be sitting on air the entire day, and he has no choice but to obey her. Later, the entire group goes to watch Dollar Store Bruce Lee's movie, Exit the Dragon, and Manta geeks out as he tells his friend that this guy was really strong in real life too, but he died mysteriously when he was 30, and his dead body was never found. Anna says all that is fine, but the bigger mystery is who sent them the movie tickets in the first place. Just then, a Chinese shaman named Jun comes there and tells Yo that he should peacefully give his samurai spirit to her so that she can gift it to her brother Ren. Yo is still trying to process what she said, but Anna realizes that this woman is dangerous. Jun takes out talismans from her juicy chicken thighs and then summons the dollar store Bruce Lee's reanimated corpse to fight them. She explains that they like to use the bodies of powerful warriors in Chinese shaman practices because that makes them as strong as they were during their lives. She tells Yo that since he already knows how strong fake Lee was, he should not bother fighting. Yo is furious to learn that Jun is even worse than Ren, and he tells her that he is never going to give Amida to anyone, especially someone from her family. He merges with Amida and dashes ahead to defeat her, but she uses her talismans to control fake Lee, who beats the shit out of Yo. Jun tells him to give up now or she will have to kill him, and Manta yells that fake Lee can't kill anyone because he is a hero. Jun mocks him, saying that he is just a weapon now and he has no emotions, but Yo tells her that there are no spirits who don't have emotions. He tells her to look at fake Lee's face, and Jun is aghast when she finds that he is crying because he doesn't want to fight. She realizes that coming into contact with Yo awakened her puppet's emotions, but he still can't disobey her. She commands fake Lee to kill Yo, who is determined to rip off the talismans and free him. He fails to reach the talisman and gets hit away, and Amida apologizes, saying that if he only had a sword, he would be able to do better. Behind them, Manta asks Anna to help Yo, but she refuses, saying that if he can't defeat a B-grade shaman like Jun, Yo will never become the Shaman King. Manta can't watch his friend being beaten, so he decides to look for a sword for him. He soon finds a wooden sword, but unfortunately, it belongs to the Jojo Ah hairstyle gangster named Ryu. Manta requests him to lend him the sword because his friend's life is in danger, but Ryu and his gang start beating him instead. However, the halfling has reached the limit of his patience, and he takes out a 10-pound dictionary and bonks Ryu with the power of knowledge and gets the sword from him. He returns to Yo soon, and with a wooden sword in hand, Amida is able to use his full skills and cut fake Lee's talisman, freeing his soul from Jun's control. As fake Lee finally realizes that he is a zombie right now, he remembers that it was Jun's family who killed him so that they could use him as a zombie weapon. He gets furious at this, and when Jun throws a talisman at him, he grabs it before suddenly attacking her. She cannot dodge for too long, but just as Lee is about to crush her, Yo comes between them to save her. He gives Lee the age-old small dick energy lecture about how revenge won't solve anything. For a change, Lee is consumed by his rage, and he starts pummeling Yo first. Yo asks Jun if there is a way to stop him, and she refuses, saying that once a zombie has been freed from its talisman, it goes out of control, and they can only stop him by destroying his body. However, she believes that no one here is strong enough to match him. Suddenly, a hard slap hits her face, and Anna calls her a pathetic bitch for losing hope so early. She tells her that it is natural that her spirits won't listen to her because of her cruel methods, but right now, she must take responsibility and help them defeat Lee. She asks her if there was anyone in the world who could defeat Lee, and Jun says that his master was the only one who could do that, but he is dead too. That is no issue for Anna, as she can simply summon him from the afterlife. Once she has summoned him, she tells Yo to get ready because she is going to merge their souls, and he ejects Amida just as Anna hits him with her rosary to transfer the master's spirit in his body. To everyone's shock, the martial master's spirit is 94 years old, and he can't even stand without trembling like your mom's favorite toy. However, when Lee attacks him, he nimbly dodges all of his attacks and then hits him in the gut to get him back to his senses a bit. The old master tells Lee that he should stop letting his rage control him, but he replies that he lost everything because of Jun's family, and he has every right to be angry. The old master tells him that he is blinded by his rage, right, because he still has his skills and his dreams to perfect his martial arts, but he can't see them. Lee attacks them, and the old master hits him with a Gamu Gamu no bazooka to knock him out cold. Lee's spirit leaves his body as the curse breaks, and he thanks his master for freeing him. The old man tells him to thank Yo because he was the one who did everything to save him. Seeing this, Jun accepts defeat and starts to walk away, realizing that she can't cage her spirits and use them as weapons. On the other hand, the old spirit tells Lee that they should head over to the other world now, but he has other plans. He says that he wants to achieve his dream of perfecting his martial arts style, and if he has his zombified body that will never grow old, he can practice for as long as he can. He calls out to Jun, telling her that he will work with her from now on but without talismans, and she is glad that this beta simp chose her even after everything she did to him. A couple of days later, as Anna is returning from school, the delinquent Ryu spots her, and this PDF file falls in love with her at first sight and proposes to her. She just remarks that his hairstyle is stupid and walks away, but Ryu doesn't give up hope and follows her. On the other hand, Yo buys a wooden sword for Ryu since he broke the one they borrowed from him last time. He then invites Manta to come over to his place, and the halfling is shocked to see that Yo lives in a huge traditional mansion, and on top of that, Anna also lives with him. While he is freaking out that these two teens live together, Ryu arrives there and asks Yo what he is doing here with his crush. Anna tells him that Yo is her fiancé, and this breaks the PDF file's heart, making him run away crying. Anyway, Manta learns that Yo and Anna have the entire house for themselves, if they don't count the numerous ghosts that live there, and that also makes the rent cheaper than 2 Big Macs. Manta freaks out when he sees the ghosts and runs away. Meanwhile, Ryu is sulking and crying at his new base while he curses Yo for trampling over his feelings every time. Suddenly, an evil ghost approaches him, saying that he can help him get revenge. Ryu is creeped out on seeing the ghost, but he can't stop him from possessing his body. Turns out, the ghost was once a bandit who was killed by Amida, and he has been waiting for a chance to get his revenge for the past 600 years. He tells Ryu's underlings to steal Amida's sword from the museum, and when they ask him what the hell is wrong with him because he used to be against stealing, the bandit stabs the fatty, telling the lackeys that if they don't obey him, all of them will die. Coincidentally, Manta was passing by the hideout at the same time, and he heard and saw everything. He decides to hurry up and tell Yo about the situation, but the bandit finds him. He already knows about everyone close to Amida and decides to use Manta as a hostage. Yo feels that Manta is in danger, and both Amida and Anna barge into the toilet to tell him that he is right. They decide to find him, but the bandit comes there first, carrying Manta on his shoulder. While Yo and Amida think that Ryu has come to get revenge because they ruined his hairstyle, Anna tells them that a vengeful ghost has possessed him. She tells the bandit ghost to show his ugly face, and he comes out. He tells Amida that he will get revenge on him for killing his entire gang, but he doesn't even remember this ugly loser because he killed too many bandits. The ugly loser introduces himself as Takage and says that he will take his revenge at all costs. Amida says he will break his weapon and his will to fight, and Takage throws Manta away as he gets ready to fight. Yo fuses Amida's soul with his body and then leaps at Takage, but Manta tells him to stop because Takage is using his sword. Amida and Yo hesitate because of this, and Takage attacks them, taking advantage of this. Luckily, Yo avoids serious damage, but now he is clueless about what to do. Anna tells him that they have to either break Ryu's body to get Takage's spirit out of it, or they have to shatter the weapons to stop him. Amida begins thinking about his childhood, where his friend Mosuke would make swords for him to protect them from bandits, but he always broke those swords. One day, when he complained too much, Mosuke used the high-quality knife that his father had left behind to make a good sword for him. Takagi thinks that Amida won't be able to make a decision, but he is proven wrong as the samurai gets into his stance and breaks the sword with one attack. He declares that while the sword was a precious gift from his friend, he was also the one who taught him the importance of sacrificing things to protect friends. Takagi can't believe that, and he points his knife at Manta, telling Amida that he is going to kill this boy if he doesn't kill himself. Suddenly, Ryu's underlings attack him and hold him back because they have finally understood that someone else is controlling their boss's body, because even though he was a delinquent, he cared about them. Yo tells Takagi that he can't win because he has no friends, but Takagi just hits them away, saying that he doesn't need any friends and the only person he can trust is himself. He then places the knife at his throat, threatening to kill Ryu if Amida doesn't possess Yo and kill him. Anna has gotten fed up with his empty threats by now, and she tells him to hurry up and kill himself, because once Ryu dies, he will be forcefully ejected from his body, and then she will use her power to send him to the deepest level of hell. Takagi says that he doesn't fear hell because he has always lived in the most hellish places. He says that he was born during the worst famines of his time, and his mother fed him her meat so that he could live. Amida is grossed out by this, and seeing this chance, Takagi grabs Yo and decides to kill him. However, this makes Anna jump into action, and she ties the bandit's hands, saying that she will send him to hell right away. Yo stops her because he has the hero complex, and he wants to save everyone, even Takagi. He thinks that what Takagi needs is therapy to address his childhood trauma, but he yells that he doesn't need that bullshit but revenge. Yo tells him that if he wants revenge, he can possess his body and do whatever he wants with him. Everyone is shocked at this, but Yo says that he wants to make sure Takagi has no regrets so that he can pass on to the other world. Takagi doesn't waste any time and jumps inside Yo's body, laughing menacingly at the dumbass who voluntarily offered his body to be slaughtered. Anna falls to her knees and starts crying, thinking that Yo is going to die now, but then suddenly, Takagi has a change of heart. He can't understand why Yo would do something like this for him, and he starts crying. Amida realizes that he is feeling regret as well as getting reminded of his mother, who sacrificed everything for him. Takagi still isn't able to understand anything, and Amida says that he turned to the dark side because there was no one he could trust. But Yo gave him a second chance, and his trust awakened the hidden vulnerability inside him. Takagi realizes that he lost the moment he possessed Yo. He leaves his body, accepting his defeat, and Anna is back to being the bossy bitch, who decides to punish Yo for making her break character. Meanwhile, Ryu returns to his senses, and seeing his friends surround him, Takagi wonders if his life would be different if he had friends. The next morning, as Yo and Manta wake up and come to the kitchen, they find Anna cooking breakfast for them. Manta is shocked because he didn't think that a bad bitch like her could cook, and Anna affirms, saying that she is here just for the taste test and the real cook is someone else. Just then, Ryu comes there and salutes Yo, who is surprised to see that he is fit enough to walk, even though he was possessed just last night. Anna tells him that because of being possessed, the hidden shamanic abilities of Ryu have been awakened. Ryu suddenly bows before Yo, thanking him for saving his life. He says that he has always been a lost soul without a purpose in life, but now he feels like he has found what he is supposed to do. He wants to serve Yo and Anna from now on, and Loki likes the idea. Later, Anna summons Mosuke's spirit to possess Ryu so that he can repair the broken sword, but he gets into a fistfight with Amida before anything else. After that, Yo tries a rapid soul merge with Amida, and Ryu tries to copy him but fails miserably. Later that evening, Yo and Anna watch a bright purple shooting star illuminating the sky, and they realize that it is the sign for the shaman fight to begin. Anna says that this shooting star appears in the sky every 500 years, and that is also the time when humanity is straying from the right path. The shooting star brings great destruction along with it, but after that, a new shaman king is chosen to guide the world. The shooting star is seen all over the world, and shamans from each corner of the earth decide to go to Tokyo for a chance to become the shaman king. The next day, Yo goes to a cafe to chill with Manta and rants about how Anna has tripled his training just because of the shooting star. Suddenly, a man wearing a ring on each finger calls out to him and says that he seems lost, but if he buys the Native American accessories he is selling, he will find his way. Yo initially thinks he is a suspicious guy and summons Amida to fight, but then thinks that he is just a peddler and decides to ignore him. However, the man is actually a shaman from the Native American tribes, and he is here to assess the competitors before the shaman fight begins. Later that day, Yo goes to the graveyard to relax, but Amida seems to be in a slump. He says that while Yo is getting stronger as a shaman, He can't improve his strength or skills because he is a ghost. Amida says that he doesn't think he can contribute much to their fights, but Yo tells him to live in the present and not worry about the future. Suddenly, the man from the cafe comes there, telling Yo that he has an interesting way of thinking. Yo is shocked to see him, and the man apologizes for following him here. He throws off his cloak, revealing 5 powerful animal spirits by his side. He then introduces himself as Silva, a member of the Shaman Fight Selection Committee who is going to help him conduct Yo's qualification test. Yo is confused by this, and Silva explains that his patch tribe has overseen the Shaman fight ever since it started. He tells Yo that the rules are simple, and he just has to land one hit on him within 10 minutes if he wants to pass the test. Yo still doesn't understand what is happening, but he takes up the challenge and immediately merges with Amida. He attacks Silva with a flying slash, but the attack gets deflected before reaching his body. Yo decides to go for a close-range attack next, but Silva turns his turtle spirit into a shield to block it. Yo can't believe what he sees, and then Silva uses the bison spirit to kick him away, the fox spirit to chase after him, and then the snake spirit to rescue him. Yo is completely confused now and asks Silva how his spirits can touch material things. Silva replies that he has solidified the spirits because of his spiritual power. He tells Yo that he is here to test his spiritual power and not the strength of his samurai spirit. He asks him to use his spiritual power in a way that can touch him because physical strength won't do the job. Yo replies that he is seeing this for the first time and he can't do it. But Silva tells him that the test also judges his wisdom and the ability to gain knowledge without being taught. Yo decides to go creative and turns Amida into his spirit ball form before yeeting him at Silva. He just passes right through him, and then Yo decides to use a spell to attack him. The spell doesn't do anything to Silva, but almost exorcises Amida. Silva laughs and asks Yo to show him more amusing tricks. His animal spirits manifest, and except for the turtle and the bison, everyone tells him to give up on this loser now. Suddenly, Yo spots that the spirits are manifesting from animal parts that are attached to Silva's clothes. He realizes this is the answer to the problem and merges Amida with his sword, unlocking a new way to use spirits. Silva commends him for finding the correct answer and explains that he can only combine spirits with items that are related to them and enter the over-soul mode. Normally, the spirit still leaks out of the object, but a skilled shaman can solidify it and hold it in shape, which Yo has managed to do. Yo is confident that he can fight on equal ground against Silva now, even though he is quite tired. Silva tells him that they don't need to hurry because he still plans to test him a bit more. He suddenly fuses his 5 spirits into a totem pole cannon that can fire a powerful spiritual beam. Silva tells Yo that if his spiritual power is great enough, he will be able to cut through the attack, but if he is not strong, the attack will surely kill him. He says that if he wants to take the test to become the Shaman King, he must be willing to risk his life, and Yo grows tense on hearing this. However, his mama didn't raise a quitter, and he tells Silva that he will take his test. Silva is glad that he is man enough to stand his ground and then shoots a powerful spirit beam at him. Yo attacks it with his full power, and his spiritual slash manages to cut through the beam and even the totem pole. However, his attack doesn't seem to have touched Silva, and he thinks that he didn't pass the test. He collapses because he has just used all his energy, but Silva catches him and then informs him that he passed the test because his attack cut his bandana. He then gives Yo his Shaman Fight Participation Pass, through which he will receive all instructions regarding the fight from the Spirit King himself. Silva wishes Yo all the best for the Shaman fight and then flies away. Meanwhile, Ren has also got his Spirit Pass, but instead of just landing one hit on his examiner, he has outright killed him. Silva reaches the spot soon and finds that other members of his tribe who are overseeing the examination are already there. They start lecturing Silva about the rules and traditions he should follow in such a case, but he tells the old farts to shut up and tell him who killed his friend. They show him a picture of Ren and reveal that he is the highest achieving candidate on their list. Silva says that they can't let someone who can murder the examiners go further into the test, but the other shamans disagree with him. They say that the Spirit King chose all the contestants, and they cannot question his decisions. Moreover, deaths during the shaman fight are often seen as the sign that a strong Shaman King will be born, so they should be glad for that. The shamans tell Silva to not even think about going after Ren for revenge, and he begins asking the Spirit King why he makes the shamans fight in such a cruel tournament if he knows everything. Suddenly, Silva's granny contacts him via a video call and tells him that even though the Spirit King knows everything, he doesn't know the exact future. Granny says that the future is decided by the actions of humans, and that is why the Spirit King allows the most powerful shamans to act in the shaman fight. She tells him to not lose hope because they can't be sure that Ren will become the Shaman King just because he is the strongest contender right now. She tells him that Yo has defeated him before despite being a half-baked shaman, and she believes that he will be the one to stop Ren. Meanwhile, Yo is at his home, getting slapped by Anna for returning home late. He tells her that he met a shaman named Silva who gave him the pass to participate in the shaman fight, and Anna thinks Silva is a girl, so she slaps him again for trying to cheat on her. Anyway, he soon gets the first set of instructions through the pass that tell him about the rules of the prelims. There will be 3 matches in the preliminary round, and the shamans need to win 2 of them to go to the next round. Both the shamans must use the Oversoul mode to fight, otherwise the fight won't be counted, and if someone can't maintain the Oversoul mode, they lose. Manta explains all the rules to Yo in NBA terms so that he doesn't get confused. Yo says that he understands everything, but he finds the name of his first opponent, Horo-Horo, funny. Manta tells him not to underestimate anyone because Horo-Horo could be a strong guy, but Yo just says, "Nah, I'd win." Those words bring up a trauma hidden deep inside Manta's heart, and he asks Yo not to be so carefree. Amida suddenly pops up and says that Yo is strong because he is so carefree, since that allows him to figure out things rather than worrying about them. Soon, the day of the first fight arrives, and Yo goes to the location along with his friends. Anna makes him change into his battle uniform, and he is embarrassed to find that it looks too corny. However, when Anna asks if he has any problem with the uniform she made herself, he does a quick 180 and says that it is really cool. Just then, he hears the laugh of his opponent Horo-Horo, who calls him a dork and then surfs down the building to tell Yo that he looks like a loser in those clothes. He introduces his shy spirit that hides behind a leaf and tells Yo not to underestimate her just because she is cute. Anna interrupts them and lashes out at Horo for calling her designed outfit lame, and he asks her who the hell she is. She introduces herself as the wife of the future Shaman King, and this overconfident narcissist starts feeling lucky that Anna is proposing to him. She calls him an idiot and then points to Yo, saying that he is her husband. Horo feels a wave of hopelessness sweep over him because he doesn't even have a girlfriend yet, but his cute spirit Koro consoles him. Horo hugs her and then introduces the spirit to Yo, saying that she is a fairy, a special type of nature spirit that lives under plants. He explains that his tribe believes in harmonizing with nature to unleash their full potential as shamans, which is why he and Koro have a really special bond. He then asks Yo to introduce his spirit, but then he notices Manta and freaks out, thinking that he also has a fairy spirit. Manta takes offense to this and says that he is a human, but Koro falls in love with him, thinking that he is the biggest and manliest of fairies. Anyway, Horo tells Yo that they should start fighting and merges Koro with his snowboard to activate his Oversoul mode. He immediately launches some icicles at Yo, who blocks them all by activating his Oversoul mode instead. He tells Horo that the official fight has not yet started, but he says that it doesn't matter. He keeps looking at his pass to see when the countdown to the fight reaches 0 and tells Yo that he will do anything to become the Shaman King and achieve his dream. Just as the counter reaches 0, he attacks Yo again, and he can just block the attacks. Horo then stabs the ground with the icicle and sends ice from the ground to trap Yo. He jumps up to dodge it, but Horo was waiting for him to be mid-air because he can't dodge now. He shoots him with icicles, but Yo uses Amida's armor to block the attack. He tells Horo to slow down and have a proper conversation before the fight because he is worried that he will crush his dream. This makes Yo's friend think that he has gone crazy, but Horo starts to respect him and reveals that his dream is to create a gigantic garden of plants under which fairies like Koro live because they are quickly heading towards extinction. Yo starts to cry because Horo's story touched his heart, and he decides to give up so that he can become the Shaman King. Anna gets pissed at this and punches Yo, telling him to remember his dream to live an easy life and her dream to become the first lady of the shaman world. Yo comes back to his senses, but he now feels that he is unworthy of becoming the Shaman King. Suddenly, he gets an idea and tells Horo not to worry because when he becomes the Shaman King, he will make his dream come true too. Horo tells him that dreams are meaningless until you work hard to achieve them, and Yo agrees, but now that he knows how to help Horo, he decides to stop holding back. Horo shoots some icicles at him next, but Yo gets closer to him while blocking them with his shield. He sends a flying slash towards him, but Koro changes her trajectory to avoid it. Horo then covers the entire ground in ice to attack Yo from all sides, but he uses Amida's special move to break the icicles. Everyone is shocked to see that Yo can use his spirit's techniques, and Horo admits that he is really strong. That is why he decides to use his ultimate move and summons an avalanche to take him down. Yo decides to charge at him with full strength as well, but he ends up getting buried under the snow. Horo thinks he won, but then suddenly, Yo blasts out from under the snow and attacks him. However, he changes his attack's direction at the last moment because Horo had already gone out of the Oversoul mode. Yo wins with that, and the next day, Ryu and his gang come over to celebrate his victory. Horo also joins the party because he and Yo have developed mutual respect for each other, but he can't stay there long enough as his sister comes to drag him away for training, and Yo realizes that she is just like Anna. She turns around and curses Yo for interfering with her dream of becoming the sister of the Shaman King, and Horo tells him that he won't lose to him when they meet the next time. Soon after that, Yo has his second match, and while he waits for his opponent in a graveyard with Manta by his side, Anna is meeting with Silva. Silva asks her to get Yo to give up on this match because his opponent has killed the previous shaman he fought. And what is worse, he is a necromancer who can use the dead bodies as a medium to achieve the Oversoul state. He tells her that the fight is also in a graveyard that gives an advantage to his opponent, and Anna complains because it is unfair. Silva tells her that the Spirit King chooses the time and place of all the fights, so they can't do anything about that, but asks her to stop Yo from fighting if she wants him to live. On the other side, Yo's opponent with dark circles bigger than my friend's circle comes there and politely introduces himself as Faust VIII. Yo is unable to judge him on the first glance, but Amida is instantly on his guard because Faust smells of death. Faust says that this is because he comes from a long line of doctors who have tried saving patients from death, but it still comes for them in the end. He says that one of his ancestors was so determined to find a way to overcome death that he became a shaman, an alchemist, and a necromancer. Manta has heard that story, and he checks out his encyclopedia to confirm that there was a German man named Faust I who fits the description. Faust tells him that his ancestor took part in the shaman fight 500 years ago, but he was overconfident and died at the hands of the demon he summoned. He declares that he is much better than his ancestor, and he has mastered the craft of necromancy. He takes off his coat to reveal that he is not a normal human, and he carries the skeleton of his late wife to act as a medium for his Oversoul mode. Manta freaks out on seeing this and runs away, but Faust gets curious about his halfling build. He suddenly reanimates all the skeletons in the graveyard and tells them to catch Manta because he is going to research him. Yo tries to stop him, but Faust puts some skeletons to stop him. He then walks to Manta and starts dissecting him without anesthesia, and enraged by this, Yo shatters his skeleton and punches him away, and then has an emotional dialogue about Manta dying. Suddenly, the battle pass tells the two shamans that it is time to start fighting, and Yo ties his shirt around Manta's body to stop the bleeding and decides to end the fight quickly so that he can take him to a doctor. Faust tells him that he is also a doctor, and he is more than willing to help, but Yo tells him to shove 206 bones up his ass. Faust summons the rest of the skeletons in the graveyard as well, but Yo enters his Oversoul mode and destroys them in one hit. Faust is shocked by this, but he uses the remains of the skeletons to form a defensive wall around him. Yo slashes through the wall and smashes him onto a gravestone, but Faust has just completed solo leveling, and he revives all his skeletons with one snap. No matter how many times Yo defeats them, they keep returning to fight, and eventually he gets exhausted. He tries attacking Faust with his full power, but ends up falling to the ground because he has almost run out of his spiritual power. Silva is watching this from a distance, and he decides to swoop in and save Yo just as he leaves his Oversoul mode. He wonders why he is pushing himself so far to save Manta, and Anna comes out to reveal that Manta is Yo's first human friend. Yo tells her to shut up, but she reveals his sad backstory about how he was always hated and called the cursed child in the village. Because of that, he has always been alone, and Manta was his first human friend he made soon after leaving the village, and he will save him at all costs. Faust says that he is touched by the story, so he will stop fooling around. He disbands all the normal skeletons and pours all his energy into the skeleton of his wife Eliza, who takes the appearance of a normal human to fight. She easily overpowers Yo, and Silver realizes that Faust was playing mind games with him the entire time to make him use up his spiritual power quickly. Because of that, Yo is having a hard time dealing with Eliza, even though she is weaker than him. He gets seriously injured, and then Faust tells Eliza to kill him quickly, Anna tries to step in, but Yo asks her to stop because he has finally come up with a way to defeat Faust. He tells the necromancer to stop playing with puppets and fight him directly, and this makes Faust explode with rage because Yo called his Eliza a puppet. He forgets that he has to conserve his spiritual energy and begins attacking Yo recklessly, who keeps blocking and dodging to tire him out. He calls Eliza a puppet once more, and Faust reveals his tragic backstory. He talks about how he always loved Eliza, and they got married and lived a happy life together till she was killed by robbers. He couldn't save her, but then he found his ancestors' records, which he used to bring her soul back. He declares that he will become the Shaman King and perfectly revive her. Yo tells him that a person who doesn't respect the cycle of life and death doesn't even deserve to be a shaman. He focuses all his remaining spiritual power in the tip of his sword, and as Eliza charges at him, he manages to cut her legs off. However, that was the last bit of his spiritual power, and he runs out of the oversoul state first, losing the match. Yo becomes frustrated by this because he never thought that losing would hurt so much, and Amida says that he feels like this because he values his friends and he didn't want to lose to a man who hurt them. He guesses that after facing a defeat like this, he will really want to become the Shaman King from the bottom of his heart. Yo realizes that Amida is right and thanks him for advising him on such a critical matter. Anna thinks that now that the fight and the lecture are over, they can take Yo and Manta to a hospital, but it is not over for Faust yet. He is furious because Yo broke the legs of his wife's skeleton, and in his rage, he combines all the bones from the graveyard to create a gigantic skeleton and attacks Yo. Anna and Silva both try to step in, but someone else comes in before them and destroys the giant skeleton with just one hit. It is Ren, who is riding a white horse, and he tells Yo that he can't let him die here because he is his next opponent. Later, Manta gets admitted to the hospital, and his entire family comes to check up on him. His mother tells him to change schools because he is being roughed up a lot recently, but Manta refuses. His sister reveals his secrets that he has a special friend with whom he skips class and gets into dangerous situations. Just then, Manta's dad, the Peter Dinklage of businessmen, comes there and tells him that he has found out everything about his friend Yo. He slaps Manta for hanging out with a crazy idiot whose entire family believes in ghosts and tells him that once he is healed, he is heading to the USA to attend a new school because guns are less scary than ghosts. Manta can't say anything to his dad, but later, as he is thinking about how he will tell this to Yo, he finds that he is also admitted to the same hospital. He barges into his room, but Yo coldly shuns him, blaming him for his loss and saying that he doesn't want to be friends anymore. Manta starts crying because he was ready to rebel against his parents to stay with him, but Yo is kicking him out first. He runs away calling Yo a jerk, and then Anna praises him because she didn't think he could pull off such a heartless act. Yo replies that this is for the best as Manta was in danger because of him. He doesn't want him to risk his life anymore, especially because his next fight is against Ren. Yo says that he is not strong enough to beat Ren right now. That is why he decides to go back to his hometown to train under his grandpa. On the other hand, Manta and his family are at the airport, waiting for their flight. His mother tells him that he will be able to study harder in America, but he gets furious at her because she only cares about studying. He says he can't have any fun in this family, and he had the best time of his life with Yo. So even though he shunned him, Manta runs to Yo to learn the truth. However, he forgets his wallet in his suitcase and realizes this just as he reaches outside the airport. He freaks out, but then luckily, he sees Ryu, who is also going to the USA to become a sushi chef there. Manta says that he is jealous of him because he has a goal in life, while he has nothing to live for. Ryu realizes that the halfling is feeling down because something happened between him and Yo. He also knows that Yo has headed back to his hometown to train, and he decides to abandon his trip to take Manta to meet his best friend and sort out their issues. On the other hand, Yo's grandpa takes him to a special place to train. He can't believe that Yo returned home and asked for additional training, but he is glad that he did. The old man tells him that the spiritual energy is like a sixth sense that shamans are born with, and they can't improve it just by hard work. That is why, if he wants to increase it, he must die and then be reborn again. Yo freaks out on hearing this, and then his grandpa tells him that he is taking him to the netherworld, where the ancient people buried their dead, and it is the closest place to the afterlife on Earth. He leads him to a dark cave, telling him that he will have to walk through it for 7 days and 7 nights straight, and in the darkness, he will lose his 5 senses so he can focus on his 6th sense and grow it. The old man warns him that it won't be easy, but Yo has made up his mind to complete this training. As he goes inside the cave, his grandpa decides to meditate and pray for his success. However, Tamao, a student studying under his family, who has an open crush on Yo, uses her divination skill to keep track of his safety. While she is trying to predict the future, she arrives at a prediction that a tall man and a short man are coming to their village and they will bring disaster to it. She immediately goes to Yo's grandfather to share her prophecy, but he dismisses it because he knows that she is not really skilled at it. However, Tamao can take no risks when it concerns Yo, and 2 guardian spirits of the house persuade her to fight the invaders instead. The next day, as Manta and Ryu arrive at the village, Tamao attacks them without warning and tells them to get away if they don't want to die. Manta asks her who the hell she is, and Tamao tells him that she is a student of Yo's family, and she has always been in love with him despite knowing the fact that he is engaged to someone more talented and pretty than her. She transforms the fox spirit into a crossbow and asks Manta to return right now, but he refuses, saying that he will definitely meet Yo. Tamao decides to shoot him, but just then, Anna comes there and tells her to stop. She then gets her spirits to admit that they were just using Tamao's vulnerability to harass 2 strange men. Tamao starts crying because she got fooled by them, but Anna tells her that she did well. She thanks her for caring about Yo, and she doesn't mind that she has feelings for him. She tells Tamao that she is in Yo's DMs while she is in his bed, and Manta regards that as the mic drop moment of the story. After that, they all go to the cave to welcome Yo back. Manta and Ryu are worried that Yo went to such a dangerous trial by himself, but Anna says that he chose it for himself and no one has any right to interfere. Amida says that Yo might be completely changed after this trial, but when he comes out, he is still the same goofy idiot as ever. Everyone is dumbfounded by this, but as they have dinner later, Yo explains what happened inside the cave. He says that it was quite difficult initially, and he felt worse the more he thought about it. So he decided to stop thinking altogether because things always work out in the end, and that was how he was able to clear the trial easily. After dinner, he sits down with Manta to have an honest conversation about his feelings and apologizes to him for being mean earlier. Just then, his grandfather returns from a business trip and tells Yo that he doesn't have time to relax because they need to see the effects of his training. Just then, Anna comes out with Amida and his sword, and the old man unleashes his oversoul mode first, summoning spirit puppets around leaves. He sends them ahead and tells Yo to use his oversoul mode now. Yo activates his oversoul mode and defeats the spirits with a single slash, and then he notices that his oversoul mode's design has changed and it has become much more powerful. His grandpa remarks that it is surprising because he never thought the results would be powerful enough to evolve his oversoul mode. He tells Yo that he is ready for his fight against Ren now and wishes him all the best for it. Soon, the date of Yo's fight with Ren arrives, and he goes to the destination along with Manta, leaving Anna and Tamao at home. While the halfling is tense for the battle, Yo is relaxing because there is no point in worrying. Suddenly, he senses Ren's presence, and the very next moment, he makes a dynamic entry on his horse. He tells Yo to tremble in rage because he will completely defeat him and kill him today. But Yo just grins like a fool because this was exactly how he imagined Ren would make an entrance. He declares that he will win today, and Ren gets pissed because Yo seems oddly confident about it. However, he can't tolerate his carefree attitude and thinks that he is just bluffing. He gets off his horse even though his spirit can't use his full power without it. Ren says that he doesn't even need that to defeat Yo, who is not thinking about the fight yet because he has noticed that Ren has gotten a bit taller from the last time. Suddenly, their battle passes tell them that it is time to fight, and Manta immediately uses his oversoul mode to attack Yo. Yo blocks it with his evolved oversoul, and Ren remarks that he seems to have grown stronger. Yo laughs like an idiot as he thanks him for noticing, and Ren gets even more pissed at this. He keeps attacking Yo recklessly, but he blocks all those attacks, even those from his blind spot, because Amida can see them. Yo decides to go on the offensive next and uses a flying slash to hit Ren. He takes some damage, but that is nothing to him, and instead of slowing down, Ren goes Super Saiyan. He evolves his oversoul further and attacks Yo, driving him into the air and then materializing his spirit to hit him to the ground. Yo blocks the damage using his spiritual power and then recreates his oversoul, but that costs him a lot of spiritual power. Silva keeps track of the spiritual power of both fighters, and he realizes that unless Yo comes up with a game-changing move, he is going to lose. Ren keeps attacking and pushing Yo back, so Manta decides to call Anna since she can help. Yo gets distracted as he sees him running and Ren slams him against a gravestone. Yo gets up and tells Amida that he has an idea to beat Ren. He says that if he can create an oversoul bigger than Ren, they can win, but there are two problems in the way. First, he doesn't want to use energy too quickly and tire himself out, and second, he doesn't know how to do it. He keeps blocking Ren's attacks as he tells Amida that when they were fighting against Faust and he got carried away by the emotions, he lost his spiritual power quickly. He doesn't want to do that again because when he gets overwhelmed, he loses control of himself, and he doesn't like that. Ren takes offense because Yo thinks he can defeat him while being relaxed, so he materializes his spirit to attack him. However, Yo stabs it with his sword, dispelling it, and Ren has to create it again. He thinks that was just a fluke and materializes his spirit again to attack him. But Yo follows Amida's instructions and dodges everything, and then destroys his oversoul with another attack. Ren can't believe that Yo dodged everything, and he replies that he didn't dodge anything. He says that he took the attacks head-on, but they didn't do much damage, so he was fine. Ren's confidence is totally rattled by this, and Silver realizes this is what Yo was trying to do. He says that the spiritual power is dependent on the shaman's state of mind, and Ren is strong because of his confidence. However, when Yo stayed calm in the face of his ruthless attack, he started losing his confidence, and his attacks became weaker. On the battlefield, Ren also realizes why he is losing, but then he remembers why he can't lose. He recalls seeing his family's collection of zombies for the first time and the disgust it filled him with, and that is why he wants to become the Shaman King to destroy them before anything else. He unleashes his spiritual power and rips off his shirt before calling his horse and getting on it. He tells Yo that he will show his true power now and then summons the spirit of the Chinese warrior's horse and merges it with his ride. Now that the warrior is on his horse, he can use his maximum power. Ren charges ahead with destructive power, and Yo realizes that he can neither block this attack nor dodge it, so he decides to meet Ren with his full power as well. Ren tells him to keep dreaming because he can't match him now, but Yo pours all his spiritual energy into his oversoul and materializes Amida. Together, they block Ren's attack and clash with him at their full strength. An explosion rocks the battlefield, and when everything settles, Ren runs out of spiritual power first. He says that he always knew that he could never beat Yo, right from the first time they met. He says that he always tries to win with brute strength, but someone as free-flowing as Yo could not be defeated by that. He admits his defeat, but then Yo tells him that he also ran out of spiritual power at the same time, and now he doesn't know what to do because Anna will kill him if he loses. Ren is dumbfounded on hearing this and tells Yo to stop messing with him, but he promises that he is not. He tells Ren that he should have paid more attention instead of giving his cool monologue, and they start bickering over it. Just then, Silva comes there and says that he watched the fight and they both ran out of battery at the same time, which makes it a tie. Ren and Yo can't accept it, and they ask who will go to the next round in that case. Silva says that only the Spirit King can decide that, and to convey his decision, his granny comes there personally, escorted by the other examiners. She says that the Spirit King wants them both to go into the next round because they have great potential. She then takes the two boys to the stadium where all the other successful shamans are waiting. The old hag addresses them all, saying that the main round of shaman fights will begin in a month, and they will learn about the details from their battle passes as usual. She advises them to spend this month with their loved ones because there is no guarantee that they will survive the main round, and even if they do, their lives won't be normal after that. The next day, a party is thrown at Yo's house to celebrate him getting into the next round, and he has some uninvited guests. There is Horo, who has also made it to the second round, and he also dragged Ren along with him because he thought they were going to be friends. Anna knows that Horo just did this to save money on hotels, and she tells him that he will have to pay her before he leaves. Anyway, they have a fun time together, and Ren decides to leave for China immediately because he has some things to take care of and reorient his training. They talk about the upcoming fights, and Ren asks Yo to stay healthy till they meet again. The next day, Yo goes grocery shopping with Tamao and then takes a shortcut through a shrine to reach his house faster. To his surprise, he finds a custom car there that has loudspeakers on its top. Two pop star monks come out of it and begin singing so that Yo recognizes them, but they sing a special hymn that sends the two pervert spirits with Tamao to the afterlife. Yo asks them what the hell their deal is, and they reply that their mission is to exorcise all the evil spirits from this world, and for that, they are going to become the Shaman King. Yo realizes that they are in the shaman fight too, and the monks agree. They say that they watched his last fight, and he was really great, and that is why they are here to take him down before he becomes a threat to them. They suddenly start singing a song that summons a lot of tiny spirits that cling to Yo and then steal the pouch in which he hides Amida usually. They say that they are going to exorcise Amida to stop him from taking part in the tournament, but Yo rushes towards them to take him back. The monks start playing their song again, and the tiny spirits press Yo down to the ground. Tamao tries to step up, but Yo tells her to stop because he will get Amida back with his own power. The monks begin walking away, and in his desperation, Yo releases his spiritual power directly, overloading the tiny spirits and blasting them away. The monks panic on seeing this, but they send more tiny spirits to stop Yo from reaching them. You can't get through all of them, but then suddenly, the spirits are defeated all at once, and no one understands what is happening. A man comes out of the shrine, telling the monks to stop disturbing his sleep, and Yo is shocked to see that it is Ryu, whose hairstyle has developed layers. He wonders what the hell is happening, and Ryu tells him that he has also become a shaman. Yo can't believe that, so Ryu explains that earlier, when Yo came back to the city to fight Ren, he forgot about him and left him in his hometown. Ryu says that he used this opportunity to get trained under his grandfather, and now he is a full-fledged shaman. The monks tell him to stop narrating his story because this episode is supposed to be about them, but Ryu replies that he didn't even notice them because they don't have any presents. He tells them that this shrine is his hideout now and slashes their car with his wooden sword as he tells them to get lost. The monks piss their pants on seeing this and run away, saying that they will tell their boss about this. Later, Yo returns home with Ryu, and Manta also comes there for free dinner. He is shocked to hear that even Ryu is a shaman now, and what is more, he got a battle pass from Silva, and then he defeated 2 shamans to enter the second round of the shaman fight. Yo begins to think that his achievements are nothing special now, and he is even more disappointed to learn that Ryu's spirit is the bandit Takage. Just then, Horo and his sister come out of the bathroom because Sweet Home Alabama, and tell Yo that it is a good thing that they have one more friend in the next round. Yo agrees, but then Anna tells everyone that it is not the time to get happy because she is going to train them immediately. On the other hand, Ren is returning home by train. He is in a foul mood, but when an old lady and her idiot grandson offer him a dumpling, he quickly takes it and thanks them. He then goes to take some fresh air and tells his spirit that ever since he learned about his family's secret, he hated them and all of humanity. He wanted to become the Shaman King to destroy everything, but that changed after meeting Yo. Ren says that humans are not so bad after all, but he has already committed too many sins for which he cannot be forgiven. However, he wants to atone for his sins by taking down the source of all his hatred, which is his father. His spirit tells him that it is not the wise thing to do, but Ren has made up his mind that he will defeat his tyrant father and stop him from ruining more lives. A couple of days later, he reaches home after a long journey and finds that his father has laid out a welcome for him in the form of his zombie army. Ren wouldn't have it any other way, and he tells his spirit to get ready because it is showtime. He enters Oversoul mode and tears through the zombie army, but then his father appears in front of him out of nowhere and smacks him away. Ren is taken aback because he couldn't sense his father coming, but his father acts like a fool and tells him to come and hug his daddy. Ren says that he is not his father but a monster, and the giant man says that he feels hurt because both his children turned against him. Ren panics, asking his dad what happened to his sister, and he replies that she sided with their enemy, Yo, so he had to punish her. Ren asks what the hell he did to her, and his dad reveals the chopped-up body of her zombie, who tried attacking him to defend her. He then brings out Jun, who is tied by chains, and the giant man tells Ren that if he tries to rescue her, he will get punished too. Even Jun asks him to stop because he can't defeat their father right now, but he just charges his Oversoul mode and dashes at him. Ren's spear hits his father's enlarged body, and he doesn't understand what kind of technique that is. His father tells him that he has too much to learn, and he will teach him everything after disciplining him properly. He hits him with his full power, and suddenly, Yo and his friends get a weird feeling in Japan. Yo thinks that something must have happened with Ren when suddenly his spirit Basin pops up from the ground and asks Yo for help. He tells Yo and the gang about Ren challenging his dad and getting absolutely humbled because he was no match for the giant man. He begs Yo to save him because he is the only one who can do that. Meanwhile, Ren has been rotting in a cell for 10 days. Despite enduring torture from his father, his spirit has not broken yet, and he tells his sister that if they find out the secret to their father's power, they can defeat him. She tells him that it is hopeless, but Ren tells her that if he has learnt anything from Yo, it is that things always work out in the end. Soon, Yo and his gang arrive at Ren's house to rescue him, and they even bring the useless halfling for no reason. Basen thanks them for coming here, and Yo tells him that there is no need for it as Ren is their friend. Amida and Takage return after scouting the mansion and report that they couldn't find anything there. Basen says that Ren's father is a very clever man, and he must be planning something. But Yo thinks that he must be taking an afternoon nap right now. Unfortunately, Basen is right because Ren's father has seen the intruders at his gate, and he decides to release the elite zombies called the 5 Curse Squad to deal with them and then add them to his zombie collection.